What's going on? Welcome to the Mint Condition. I'm your co-host, Jason.
And I'm Matt.
And we're happy you're here with us today. And today we're talking about beating the competition in 2023. And that's something you don't want to wait to do. And we're going to cover all the reasons why you want to start this now as opposed to January. So, in preparing for 2023, what you want to do is start figuring out what's right for you. There's all kinds of business owners. Either you're just getting started with your online presence, or you've been online for a while and you just know that it's time to shake that up and start that shift. In either case, or wherever you are in the middle, these things take time, right?
For sure.
Namely, in preparing for 2023, the thing to remember is that these things take time. There will be some of you that know that, some of you that don't. And for those of you that don't, turnaround times vary. And with Mintun Media, our turnaround times for, let's say, medium to larger size projects tend to be around 3 to 4 months. So if your project is of that medium to large size, just mentally account for that, even if that's not the case. Even if it does get done faster, put in your head 3 months. What can I accomplish in 3 months? What is my goals in 3 months? And with that being said, how do you think, or what is the best way for somebody to prepare right now to take over 2023 in their field?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to touch on the fact that you said 3 months for a project. I mean, that is ideal, and that's why we're saying this today in the beginning of quarter four, that it's important to plan, a quarter ahead, even 6 months ahead if you really want to get ahead of the eight ball.
Yes.
Because inevitably what happens in development timelines, there's so many parties involved, not just within the agency you're hiring, but within your own company as well, that it actually extends timelines. So 3 to 4 months is ideal, and that's what we shoot for, and that's typically what we hit. But that's because we are on our clients pretty hardcore to get back approvals and direction and whatnot. But if we're not getting that back, then that just extends timelines. So that's why that's important, and we try to build that into the whole project plan and account for it. To make sure that we set expectations appropriately. And that's what really can just push those timelines out. I mean, that's what happens with most projects with other agencies is their timelines are pushed out so much that if everything was ideal, it might be 4 or 5 months. But because of that turnaround time or changes, edits, all that stuff that extends scope and extends time, it ends up taking 6 to 8 months. And by then the issue becomes, is your business where it was 6 months ago when you're launching the thing that you're building, or is it further ahead and your requirements are a little bit different? So that's important to think about, and that's why I always talk about thinking about the big picture, your future, like where do you want your business to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and build platforms or functionality or your website or whatever you're building based off of that. Build something today that you want to go live, we're talking 3 months from now, but also keep in mind, what do you want live a year from now? Where do you want to be a year from now? If you have a e-commerce store and it's making $10,000 a month, awesome, congratulations, that's great.
Yes.
But a year from now, I'm hoping you want to be at, $100K a month. Right? So build a platform today that can support your goals next year. Build a platform that will support that $100K a month.
So functionality is paramount when focusing on the next year or the next step in your journey?
That's part of it for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you have this big vision but you deliver upon it kind of in a bad way, it's not built very well, it's not going to be built for scale. And when, if you're it's kind of like we always refer to cars, right? So if you're driving a Beater Accord and you're going 125, if it'll even go that fast, well, it's going to be a lot scarier going 125 because it's not built to go that fast.
That's true.
It's going to feel like it's going to tear itself apart, and you might not be able to drive it again after that because it's just going to keep breaking. But if you're driving a brand new Mercedes C-Class or whatever, that's going to handle that no problem.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so your website's, essentially the same way. If you're building something, if you're going budget on everything you're doing, and you don't build for scale, or the developer you hire doesn't understand, hey, I want this thing right now, but here's where I want to be a year from now, they're going to build for this little thing. They're not going to build for $100K a month.
Right.
And that's where you want to be. You want to build functionality up here even if you're down here still.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
That's true. And this would also be in the eyes of, that business owner that is either launching or redoing like a massive, or maybe not even a massive, just a project in general. Maybe you're trying to prepare for 2023 and you have something already, you already like it, there's just aspects about it that you really want to improve. You know that there's a certain aspect in your build that's affecting your end revenue. So if that's the case, then we have things that we can do to help in these cases too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now you're talking about the fun stuff, the conversion aspects of it. Okay. So we want to make sure that, I mean, you should, if you're not documenting everything or getting the data for everything in your user journey, we talked about this last week.
Right.
If you're not documenting all the data sets for your users, then you won't know where the system's broken. So let's assume that you are getting all that. You will see where the system's broken. You'll see, is it, let's just say for sake of example, you have ads that go to your website and then you hope that they call sales.
Sure.
Well, you might see that it's broken in the sense that, you're getting clicks on your ads, but no one's converting to a lead.
Okay.
So now the breakage is on the website, or maybe you're not using a landing page. So you're just losing them to too much information.
Okay.
So that would tell you, hey, I got a break here. This is where I need to focus my attention. So in 2023, you might say, man, my goal is to increase our leads per month from 20 to 40. I just want to double.
Sure.
I want to double my leads.
Right,
Man, what would that do for sales if I could just double my leads? So then you look at where the breakdown is. You might see that that's broken right there, and then you'll come up with ways, or work with an agency like us to come up with ways to figure out how to improve it right in that one spot.
Man, you actually just hit the nail on my next question, which was, okay, if I'm a business owner and I can tell where my breakage is, but I don't know what the best solution is, how do I go about that? And then you said, well, you can either brainstorm your own ideas or work with an agency, which is great. I would love to find an agency that I love and trust, like Mintun Media, and I can lean into for their strategies and guidance. However, what happens when I don't know who to trust? How do I know that this agency is giving me that right advice?
That's a hard question, because you kind of have to pay to play.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, talk to them.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we approach business this way. We hire employees this way. You have a culture. You have the people that you work well with, the people you don't work well with. We approach clients this way as well. And if you guys just don't get along, or you leave that call and you're like, man, I don't think they got it.
Right.
Or if they're, say what you want, what you think you need, and if they're not asking the right questions, you're really good at this, of asking those right questions so you can understand that agency knows what they're doing. They're not just going to do what you're telling them to do, but they're going to do what they know is right for your company based off of your goals.
Right.
Now, if that agency is not asking about your goals, how are they going to build something that allows your business to grow up to that 1 year, 5 year goal?
Sure.
So
I will have no idea.
Yeah, of course not. So they're only just going to deliver on what they think you want, which is always going to be smaller than what you want. Hopefully, you should be dreaming big.
Right.
And they're also just developers. So, and I don't want to take anything away from developers. I am one.
Right.
But developers are a different breed of human.
Yes.
They
are.
They are very specific.
Yes.
And they create exactly what they're told.
Yes.
And that's actually one of the break points in most agencies that I've found, is that they create exactly what they're told, but it might be different than what the actual person's asking for.
Yes.
And that's why we have a marketing team. That's why we have marketing mixed with web development and mixed with UX UI design. The marriage of all three of those departments creates this really awesome vehicle that increases conversion, while also implementing really awesome functionality.
Right. Which actually brings me to my next point. When it comes to preparing for 2023, we are by nature routine beings. We like to get into our habits and we follow our routines almost to a T on a regular basis. So when it comes to that, if you find that you're scheduling yourself to wake up at 3 a.m. so you can talk to your developers, make that change for yourself if you think that that's healthier for you to get a full night's sleep and then get up and work on your business. I get it. There are aspects where you want to save money, but when you're working in-house may not be the word, but within the U.S., well, now you're working on at least, if not your time zone, just a couple of hours outside of it. And you won't have a language barrier. So that's part of preparing for 2023 from my eyes as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to touch on that because when we were first growing Mintun Media, a long time ago, we actually started with overseas developers.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm a developer, I could easily manage this team.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so hard. I mean, nothing against them and the way that they develop things, but there's this language barrier, and yes, I had to do the 3 a.m.s and get on with them, and I'm dead tired talking about complex things, technical things, and they're yes men, which is great. They're like, yeah, we could do that, and then they'll deliver it, and it's like, I got to wake up at 3 a.m. the next morning and be like, dude, this isn't what I asked for.
Right.
And then all the code is written in a different language.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's always fun. We actually had a really fun project a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but the project was taking over a code base that was written in Russian. And it was a spiritual company, and the whole code base was written in Russian, and they said, hey, this is broken.
Yeah.
We don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
That developer is no longer working with us.
Yeah.
This is like typical. This is what we deal with all the time.
Okay.
These just poor business owners that are like, I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
This is so technical. I don't even know what they built. I think it's written in PHP. They say these things because they hear these buzzwords, but they don't know what it means.
Yes.
And we had to, I mean, that was a fun one because you're literally using Google Translate to figure out what does this variable mean?
No.
What is this doing? And you can read the code, but it's all in a different language.
Right.
So you're like, so that was a fun one where, coding it with Google Translate. But a lot of folks are dealing with that. And that's part of that process of hiring people overseas because the developers overseas, they assume no one's going to see any of the code.
Right.
So it's really messy.
Right.
It's in a different language, and it usually does most of what you want it to do, but their ideals are way different than ours in the US.
Sure.
And so that's why, go get with a company that gets business first.
Yes.
Gets your business, understands your goals,
Right.
asks about your goals.
Right.
I mean, I would task you with this. How many companies have you called that asked you for your goals? What are your business's goals in a year? What have you done last year? How much have you made? What are your goals this year? What are your goals in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? And I bet you that's zero. I bet nobody's asked that.
You gotta, it's important to get an idea, if you don't already, to know what you're looking for, but it's also important to know what to ask or what should be asked of you. It's no different than, unfortunately, a job interview, right? If you go interview for a position and they ask you a bunch of questions and you answer them greatly, we all know that your chances of landing that job are better if you also ask questions and show that you care about the place of employment that you're considering. So this is all in preparation, and that actually brings me back to when we talked about time. If you already have a site that you've been running and you know that your developers were overseas, take into account that the next agency or developer that you decide to work with will have to take the time to go through that code, understand it, so they know how to take the next steps. It's all in preparation, and it's all about 2023 at this point.
Yeah, another cool thing to dig into for 2023 is really, we talked about the data on your website, making sure you focus on the things that really take your business to the next level.
Yes.
And you got to have data to know what that is. But you also, and you have to have goals. You have to know what those goals are. We touched on that. But also from a more design aspect of it, does your website portray your business and your business's culture?
Tell me more about this.
So it's like, I guess, does your website exude who your company is as a being? If your company was to be a person or a being, would it portray that feeling? Like, You go into the Nike store,
Yeah.
and it's way different than going into Adidas.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Am I right in that?
Yeah.
It is just a different feeling. Like, and I can't really explain what that feeling is, but it is definitely different.
It's an experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You go into, I don't even know if Mervyn's still exists, but I remember Mervyn's when I was young.
Okay.
It was like a Kohl's. Like
Okay,
a
okay, okay,
Kohl's. So
okay.
let's say you go into Kohl's
Mm-hmm.
compared to, I mean, this is even a close comparison, close to Ross.
Mm.
They're kind of close, but they still have a different feel.
Yeah.
Kohl's is a little bit higher end.
Yeah.
Ross is, I don't know, I haven't been in a Ross in
Right,
forever.
right.
But now step into a Nordstrom.
Right.
Totally different, right?
Yeah.
And so, and their websites would look completely different.
Right.
Because it's breathing that brand style, that culture.
Mm.
And also, if you're a company that really wants to focus on the culture within it, you know, like us, our culture is very, I guess, fun is the wrong word, but open and enjoyable and growth oriented and transparent. You know, we're always looking at accomplishing all of our goals together, individually and the company's goals together. It's very like, lift you up, I'll lift you up, you lift me up, all of that.
Right.
So the website should portray that, because people are buying into other people.
Yes.
They're not going to pay for a business that's just like, yeah, they'll do what I want to do. There's a million agencies out there that'll do what you want them to do. You'll be more willing to spend your hard-earned cash on an agency you believe in.
Yes.
And that's way different than someone that could just do something for you.
True.
A car can drive you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
No problem. You could buy a Scion and it'll take you from point A to point B. But if you're a car person and you believe in and believe in the company, you might say, I'd only want to drive Subaru. You know, those diehard Subaru folks. Or I only drive Mopar. That's us. We only drive Mopar. Or we only drive Mercedes, or even German. We only drive German. That used to be us. You know, it's like you'll invest into the companies you believe in.
Right.
Now, if Mercedes did something where they did something that really, from a cultural standpoint, disappointed you. I don't know, something. I don't want to get political.
They made a pickup truck.
Okay, that could. Well, they already have that.
But like I think that was like 2015. They made that pickup truck.
That's 6x6.
And nobody. No, not that. They made an actual pickup truck called the X Type. I still haven't seen it on the road, but like it's a thing now.
Yeah.
And that for some people could be a culture shock.
Yeah, it could, because now it's taking them into like more of the hardware. I don't know what you would call that, like the working force.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking more like, okay, cultural wise, something political. Like, let's say they just take a political stand.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to take any political stand. But let's
Sure.
say they do.
Yeah.
You might be like, oh, dang, I'm not going to
Do business with them.
I'm not going to do business with them.
Right.
It's not their products that are worse. Their products are phenomenal.
Sure.
Or at least I think they are.
Sure.
But they might take a political stand on something that doesn't have to deal with the car getting me from point A to point B, but it'll still affect my buying behavior. So that's totally different, but it's important. You know,
Yeah.
It's like you should be bringing your company culture into your website, and if it's not, then it's actually doing you a disadvantage, because people are buying based off that.
Yeah.
Look at our website; it definitely breathes our culture into it. It's fun. You'll see that there's no hard lines on it, right? And I don't know what that really has to mean with anything, but to me, it means that we're fluid and we go with the flow, and wherever the river takes us, that's where we go, but we know exactly what we stand for while we're going down that river. That's what that website, or that's why we built the website the way that it is. It's a good use of color. It's very inviting and exciting and fun, and that's what we want our employees to enjoy. You know, we're serious and we get down to business, but while we're getting down to business, we're listening to music, we're having a good time.
Right.
We do our stand-up meetings, and we're all cheering each other on with our big wins.
Yeah.
You know, every day it's a very winning atmosphere, and our website portrays that. Everything we put out there portrays that. Our social media portrays that. We live and breathe our culture, and your website should be the same way. So I would say going into 2023, not only is conversion important, but is your website a living, breathing proof of your company's culture.
Guys, this is a really good point. If you know about sales, you'll agree with what I'm about to say, and if you don't, you'll learn from this heavily if you didn't just learn from what he said. But when it comes down to it, the very bottom line, people buy from who they like. and they don't need to know you to know that they like you. This is similar to people telling you that first impressions are everything. If you think about things that you bought just within the last year, right, that where you had to interact with somebody, you bought whatever that thing was from the person you liked the most. It doesn't have to be this year, but you can think of something that you were thinking of buying, but you chose not to, and it was primarily because the experience that you got from the individual that you interacted with. So right now, if you were to put in your website, does your website exude your businesses or your personality enough for the person that's viewing it to make that decision? Yeah, I like this place. I like this environment. I like this experience. I want this product. Because if it doesn't, that's what you should be preparing for right now.
Yeah, totally.
So,
and even above that, like you're sparking so many thoughts.
Yeah,
That's why it's so fun hanging
Yeah.
out because man, they just go crazy. Also, what to focus on is not only your company culture on your website, but do you even know who you're marketing to?
Right.
Your personas.
yes.
Because your website needs to also, like, it needs to do so much stuff. That's why it's so hard to do all this stuff on your own.
Yeah.
It has to be a conversion vehicle. Very specific layout. It has to breathe your culture. It also has to be inviting to the people that you will market to.
Yes.
You can't be a business that markets to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so does it hit on those personas? Do you know what those personas are?
Yeah.
A diaper company wouldn't be built around a persona of a man.
True.
It would be really focused on a woman. And I'm not trying to be sexist here, but it's just
is
true.
what it is.
It's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And if I were to go buy diapers or research diapers, I would want to see diapers in this feeling, like in this feminine environment, because she was the one who had the baby and all the stuff, and I want to support that.
Yeah.
And so that it would be weird if it was masculine.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it a little bit, and I would buy a diaper if they marketed it in a way where they were like, I'm gonna make up a diaper name, but like,
someone's gonna have a business idea right here.
hey, if you take it, that's fine. But like,
come to market.
if you marketed diapers like won't stain your car seat, what I mean?
See?
Stuff like that. I'd be like, I'm getting that one.
It's very feature
what I mean?
specific.
Yeah. Right. Not that this has happened. I'm just saying in general. Won't stain your car seat, or say you can hold this over top of electronics and no drops come out. Stuff like that. I'd be like, oh, that's a guy's diaper. I got to get that.
That's funny. Oh man, that reminds me of my first Mercedes. It was an S-Class. And the first time I let my daughter, she was 3 at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 3.
Yeah.
The first time she sat in that back seat, the first thing she does, you know what she does? She picks her nose. She picks her nose and just wipes it on the leather door.
Great.
This is the first thing. And I couldn't help but to laugh. I'm just like, this is like the craziest car I've ever bought.
Dude, that's awesome.
And this is the first thing.
Dude, yeah.
I couldn't even be mad. I just laughed.
Just saying, man. If you marketed it like booger-proof leather,
oh yeah,
people would be like, yeah, I need that. I got a 3-year-old. Like,
well, if your persona for an S-Class is dads.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man.
Comes with booger queen.
Oh, so, anyway, not to lead you too astray, I did have one more thing that I wanted to tackle really quick, which was like knowing that now is the time, right? Like, if everything's perfect, you don't have a bunch of crazy stuff going on, and you have the time to submit approvals on time and all of this stuff, if everything can be said and done in 3-4 months max, how do I make the most advantage of use of time with Mintun Media right now? Like, what can they help me do? And I know that this is dependent on where I'm at as a business owner, but maybe you can give us a couple of ideas.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for business, it all comes down to conversion.
Okay.
So, and what does that mean for your business?
Right.
Think about that. What does it mean? What is your website doing? And if it's not doing anything, well, then you don't know what it's supposed to be doing, and that's totally fine. Call us up. You're going to talk to Jason. He will tell you what, he'll help guide you in that direction. But it should be doing something. And its main thing it should be doing, the whole website should be doing, and in my opinion, that's conversion. Now, conversion could mean different things. For an agency like us, it's leads.
Yes.
So that they come to you, you follow up, You create the relationship. You have conversations like you and I just had.
Mm-hmm,
You know, it might seem like we're shooting the shit, but it's real. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where business is going. It's really becoming this fun thing. You know, and that's what it should be. Business should be fun. Like, you started your business, you're grinded because you had this vision, this dream, and it should be fun.
Yeah, it should.
And the people helping you build it up should be sharing in the fun.
Yeah.
In the enjoyment of blowing up your business. Like,
Yeah.
that is just so fun. So conversion's important. That could be leads like us. It could be sales, like if you're an e-com store. If you're an e-com store. It could be more members for your membership site. Let's see here. It could be physical visits to your storefront. It's any of those things. Like it could be leads to your email funnels as well. You know, if you have automated funnels that close people, like let's say you have digital products, that would be totally what you would do.
Sure.
And maybe you go into a sales team flow if you have like mastery level products, like $10,000, $20,000 products that you want to sell people on that you don't feel would work with just a landing page. So you have to figure out what that is for your business. That's what I would focus on in 2023.
Okay.
So that leads us straight into hiring an agency or, you know, calling into Mintun Media. You need to have an idea of where you're at because you know, based off this video, Jason's going to ask you what your goals are. So think about what your goals are and how that's in line with your current conversion and where your conversion needs to be in order to hit those goals. Then what we can do is, and you might have ideas on how to accomplish that, and please bring those to the table. Like, that's totally important.
Very much
bring those to the table. But if you don't, that is okay because we are conversion specialists. We have all the people in-house to make sure that we can help you hit your goals. But we need to know what those goals are, and you better freaking believe in those goals.
Yes.
Like, you need to be living and breathing those goals. And those are the clients we don't take on, are the ones that don't. The ones that are just like, yeah, I just want to make money. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. We push those people away because those aren't our people.
Yeah.
We want people that are living and breathing their business and they have big ass goals. And you know, goals so big that you are embarrassed to share them with regular people, you know, those kinds of goals. Those are the people we're looking for because that gets us excited because it allows us to create new problems and solve them.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, how do I get my business from $10,000 a month to $100K a month? That's a big problem and a fun one for us to solve with you.
Yes.
So come to us with your goals, with where you currently are at and where you want to be. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And then if you do have ideas for how to accomplish those goals, a lot of clients do have ideas. A lot also don't. That's totally fine. Call us up. We'll help guide you in that direction. But now's the time.
Yes.
If you want to blow up 2023, now's the time to get started because things do take time.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into architecting a build and then designing the build.
Very much so.
And then building the build.
Yes.
And then QAing or, you know, quality control.
Yeah.
QAing the build and then finally launching it.
Yeah.
Now, what separates us though from other agencies, which is really great, is that most agencies, they do what you call a waterfall approach. Okay. So they'll build out the project and it's like, oh, you start up here and then, okay, all the way down here at month 6, your project's done.
Okay.
And then at month 6, that's when you get your website or platform or whatever delivered.
Okay.
What separates us is that every week or 2 weeks, whatever we decide on with the client, that's the end of our sprint. And you will get a deliverable, whether that's usable or not at the time. In the first few weeks, it might not be usable, but it's visible. You can see it.
Yeah.
Once you have something usable, like let's say we're rebuilding an entire members area for your membership site.
Yeah.
Something we do all the time for our clients.
Right.
We might have, you know, the project might be for 5 subpages for a membership. But the first one we work on is a membership dashboard because that's the first thing they see when they log in.
Sure.
That's like, oh man, I just spent my money. Now I see the dashboard. It looks awesome. Oh man, I'm so excited to use this. I'm so extreme. I get so stoked when I see an awesome dashboard. But by the same token, if I see a marketing website that looks really awesome, I won't name any names, but I have one in my mind.
Yeah.
The marketing website's dope, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to spend my money.
Right.
And then I get onto the other side of that portal where I log in. I've already paid. I paid for a year up front because I believed in this thing.
Yes.
And I get in, I'm like, what? Am I back in the 90s?
Yeah, dude.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to cancel because I'm like, no, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And it goes to show you that perception is extremely important.
Perception is reality.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So going back to that, the member dashboard is the first thing that people see.
Okay.
It has the biggest effect on people who purchase. So what we do is we develop or we design that dashboard first and then develop it. And so within maybe 3-4 weeks, maybe a month and a half, we have a deliverable for you. And you could say, and the whole project's not done yet. 4 pages still not done, but that one, the most important one, is done.
Right.
You could say, hey guys, like, let's take this live.
Yeah.
Let's go live with just a member dashboard. It looks great.
Right.
I want to start making some money off this or increasing retention because now I'm making my members happy.
Yeah.
And also, all your current members will be stoked when they see this new thing because now they're like, okay, I'm paying you monthly. I see this being updated.
Right.
And that's important.
Right.
Like I've said before, like how many mobile apps have you downloaded that haven't issued an update?
True.
And the ones that haven't in over a year, do you
How
keep
well
them?
are they doing?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Have you kept them?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you made an update to your website? I mean, it's important,
Yeah.
you know, and people see that. You know, how many, I think you know this metric, how many interactions does someone need before they make a like a buying decision with you?
With me specifically?
No,
or in general?
just in general.
Oh, okay.
That's like in the 13, 15 range or 20?
Yes, and out of that number, I think it's 70% have looked up or watched a video about you and your company.
Yeah.
Before saying, yeah, I'm ready, or
Exactly.
no, I'm out.
Yeah. See? And so they're going continuously to your website, your social media, your videos, all that stuff. It's all interconnected now.
Yeah.
And if they don't see that thing updated, or if it feels old, or if they looked 6 months ago and they were interested in espresso machine 6 months ago, I always go back to that. You made me the best espresso the other day, man.
Dude, it was so good.
It was so good.
So good.
Or best latte, actually.
Yeah.
If it's the same 6 months ago and you come back and you're like, oh my God, they haven't added anything.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Instant.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Get a little suspicious.
You get suspicious. You're like, and for some reason in your head, you're like, are they making money?
Yeah.
If they're not making money, then their products can't be kept up to date or improved. Or maybe I'm buying a product from a year ago.
Yeah.
It's these weird mental things that go into marketing and all of that stuff goes into conversion.
Right.
So it's always important to keep those things updated. True. Anyways, I went on a huge tangent.
No, that's very true. It's very true. You said a lot of really good things. One of the things that you said made me think, don't go into 2023 thinking, I just want to make money, I don't really care. Because if you don't care, why should we?
Yeah.
Right? Or any other agency for that matter.
Man, have some big ass goals. Like seriously, goals so big you're embarrassed to share them. That's all I can say. Like and I used to think too small.
Right.
And the moment I changed that, oh man, like
it was just
everything changed.
Yeah.
Like I'm just more stoked upon my day. I know everything I'm working towards is towards that goal. I mean, I write down my goals twice a day, morning and night.
Are you doing that?
And they're big goals. I mean, these are goals that like I'm going to accomplish in 5 years. 3 to 5 years. That's typically the outlook. And with our growth and our business's growth, like we're gonna hit those for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still scary thinking about those goals these days. Not scary and like it's not gonna happen. It's scary of like, damn, I want this to happen. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. It's almost scary in the fact that it's like, holy crap, I see this happening. Like it's actually happening.
Yes.
And it's comforting to know that like this is not just your goal. It's not even just your focus, but it's now a team's focus.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, it's very, very motivational. But also, I wanted to give you guys one more thing when it comes to preparing for 2023, and that is the simple fact that, and this isn't going to apply to everybody, but it will apply to a lot of you. If your year this year has been a bit challenging, as it has for many of us, and I'm not talking about the worldly challenges that we're all facing, but if just this year in business was a little bit difficult, and part of that was due to maintaining your tech or anything like that, rest assured that when you're working with Mintun Media, this is immediately going to change, right? It's automatically going to be easier from the very beginning because a lot of people that we interact with, we realize, well, they're maintaining so many different agencies as it is. They have a design agency, they have a development agency, they've got this, that, and the other, which means now you have 3 to 5 invoices that you're having to maintain every month.
Yeah, bring them all together, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would do the same thing with your phone bills. If you have a family of 4 or 5, however many, and you've got a bunch of cell phones, are they all on various plans? Do you have AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon? Or are you paying one family Verizon bill, AT&T bill, whatever that is? I mean, we do it with everything. We do it with consolidating debt. We do it with phone bills. We do it with cable. We do it with whatever services that we use, we're watching, we're listening to. These are the things that we do to just make paying that easier and getting all of those services that we require and need or want back at a better price. Why are you not doing that with your business?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
I mean, one call with your product owner with Mintun Media can solve design, marketing, and development.
All in one.
And also CTO level stuff. You know, like the big conversations of where you want the tech in your company to go. I mean, those conversations can be had as well.
Yes.
And that's all included in our priority maintenance packages.
We do.
I mean, it makes total sense. You know exactly what you're going to spend, what you're going to get, and you're going to make some big changes to your site.
Yeah. And I know we call them maintenance packages, but that doesn't mean that you're required to use those hours for maintenance. You could be using them for maintenance for 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden you and your team have this brilliant idea for your website, and now you can put maintenance on the back burner, use those hours towards your project.
Yeah, build new pages, new landing pages, better member dashboards, a new homepage just to bring your brand into it a little bit more. It could be for, I mean, just so many things. It could be for so many things.
But the thing is, act now. It's October, it's the beginning. It's gonna take 3 months to get whatever project it is that you have, again, from that medium to large size, about 3 months to get rolling towards that completion that you want. Doesn't mean that you won't decide to launch it in December, because you may, but a lot of our clients do. Yeah. But when it comes to, hey, it's done and it's ready for that next iteration of whatever it is you want it to do, put in your head, it's gonna take 90 days. If it takes 90 days for your new hire to get acclimated and start firing on all cylinders, think the same thing with any major change to your business. And you should be doing major change. You should be taking massive action. You should be writing down your goals. And if you're not, it's not too late. Start 2023 today.
Hallelujah.
So if you want to talk about that some more, give me a call. You can reach us at 866-543-9988 or
at mintunmedia.com. That's MINTUN media.com.
And you can see us on the next episode of
The Mint Condition. Peace.